I don't know how much more of this I can take. I can't restrain myself because this is the number one problem in the black community is you. People like you.
The family is that most important foundation. And we are called to recognize and honor how critical every father is to that foundation.
And I try to work things out with her aside from the court. And she would not do it because of the involvement that I had with someone new. I called my ex and I tried to speak to my children. And she, in fact, picked up, surprisingly, and asked me what I wanted. And I said, I want to speak to my children. It's been about a year now, a little over a year. And you know, I miss them, I'm getting impatient, I want to speak to them. And she laughed and hung the phone up and said, well, before hanging up, said no, laughed and then hung up.
There are teachers and coaches, they're mentors, and they're role models. They are examples of success and the men who constantly push us towards success. But if we're honest with ourselves, we'll admit that too many fathers are also missing. You and I know this is true everywhere, but nowhere is it more true than in the African American community. We know that more than half of all black children live in single-parent households. Half, a number that's doubled since we were children. We know the statistics that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime. They're 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to end up in prison.
I want my dad to like watch me growing up, to see how I've improved in something, to see what I've done, to see what I've accomplished, to be there for me. And he's not. Like he's there for me mentally, and like he'd tell me how he's proud of me, but I want to see his face when I actually do it. I want him there to see me accomplish it.
My sister, he's not after you, he's after your seed. Well, what seed does a woman have? The woman's seed is her son. The prophecy is in the male child. The Hebrew word zerah. He wants to kill your seed, your son, your father, the masculine voice in your house, until it becomes strange to your daughter to hear a man's voice in the house. So she'll be so desperate for the voice of a man or the touch of a man that the only man who ever touched her was the man who was laying on top of her.
Who run off from their children.
Your Honor, I didn't run off from my kids.
You don't taking care of them. That's exactly what you've done.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. No, you ain't trying to do nothing but have more babies that you can't take care of. This is going to be your 10th one that you can't even take care of. Like all these other fathers who run off and have these babies. Don't stick your chest out, lift your head up. You should be ashamed, not proud, standing there trying to look proud. You should feel ashamed. You should feel that you are contributing to the downfall of black people in general. You are providing that stereotype that people like to put on black men and say they're having these babies. You're a big cause of that. And you're also a big cause of your children, if any of them do not succeed in life and are not able to work themselves out of poverty, who are having behavioral problems, if any of those female children of yours get pregnant early, drop out of school early, get involved with the criminal system early, it's all because of you. Reason I say that, 70% of those children who are without a father, boys in particular, end up in the criminal justice system. 70% of them. And you're contributing to that. And you say, well, why do you keep pointing out black people? Because that's the biggest problem in our community.
I come from a bad background, Your Honor.
Man, I don't want to hear that sob story.
No matter what a black man does wrong, they want to sit back and say it's the white man's fault. But I think when 2 black men kill each other, when 2 black teens kill each other, that's our own fault in the black community. That's our own fault for not raising our kids right. That's our own fault for not teaching our younger black males how to do better with their lives. That's why I think we need to take responsibility for our own actions.
All these females who grow up in poverty, they come from bad backgrounds too. They live in the same housing projects. They live around the same drugs and the same crime, and they somehow are able to raise those children by themselves. They work 2 or 3 jobs and they go to community college. You've probably taken 2 classes at a community college. You're gonna come in here and say, I'm turning my life around, I'm doing right. Come in here and show me when you work at some jobs.
We need to teach these younger black males that getting an education is where they need to be at. And that so they can achieve things in life, so they can have something to look forward to in their life. It's gotten to the point where every time a black man does something wrong, they want to sit back and blame other races and blame other people. They either want to blame the white man or they want to blame the black woman. They want to say it's the black woman's fault.
I want you to understand what's going on, sister. The enemy knows that if he kills your man or your son or your father, he doesn't have to kill you. You'll spend the rest of your life with your heart broken over who fell apart, who didn't love you, who didn't raise you, who didn't turn out like you thought, who wasn't there for you. He'll break your heart with what he does to your son and what happened to your father or what happened to your husband or your boyfriend, and he'll break your back as you carry weight that you were never built to carry because you had no man to stand by your side.
My son stayed in trouble. He was fighting in school all the time, and I was a disciplinary. I spanked him and did everything that I could. And, you know, I tried to teach him things. You know, I gave him his values and all of that, but it didn't keep him from getting in trouble in school. He still got in trouble when we went here. He went to AEP, which is a school that they call for bad kids. And after developing the relationship with his father and, you know, a couple of ministers, youth ministers, a male that took an interest in him after he left home. Of course, he ran away. He has changed. He is an AB student now. He hasn't been in a fight in 2 years at school. He hasn't had any referrals. And so I believe that, you know, his father being in his life, you know, helped him to be able to know who he was. He used to be angry because my daughter's father was there, but, you know, when he got his father there, he completely changed, eventually.
My dad was like the missing piece in my life. I mean, I no longer have to look at other kids with their fathers and be able to talk about their dads and me not be able to say anything. And just sit around and watch and be miserable. And fighting, mouthing off was my way of getting my anger out. So.
And Dad took care of that, huh?
No,
yeah. Yeah.
A little bit.
A little bit. Look at that. Dad came in. They appreciate it. Look at Dad came and get some credit right there. You know your dad, Jack. You go ahead, take a seat.
And he'll seek to terminate and destroy the life of men because he knows he gets 2 for 1. When he gets a man, he gets you too. That's why in the book, in the Bible, it talks about in the King James Version to destroy everyone that pisses against the wall. It means to destroy everything that stands up when it urinates. The devil is after men.